I want to get into that very first bit. You talked about the shoulds, and I'm going through a bit of a moment in my life where I think, hold on, wait. This success and this life that I'm living, is this the life that I want to live? I'm pretty sure it is, but it's important to like check yourself. Wait, am I living out someone else's hopes and dreams here? Is that why sometimes it's really, really challenging? And we mirror everyone in our life, right? We mirror our parents or whoever brought us up. We mirror our friends. We mirror our colleagues. And I think very quickly we end up sometimes doing things to make that person like us more, or because, that person wanted that. So I think I want that, right? How do you navigate those shoulds, and how do you even understand if what you're working on is a should and not what you actually want in life?
Good. That's really, really good question. I think there's two things that came to mind just when you were chatting there. First of all, be careful of the environment you put yourself in. I've always said environment supports performance. But I was listening to Dan Buettner talk, the guy that, the researcher for Blue Zones. And my understanding is he's about 20 years researching Blue Zones, coined the term. Now, Blue Zones, as you know, are the places where people, more than anywhere else in the world, live to 100 years of age on average. Dan was being interviewed, and I saw this interview, and it was a Rich Roll podcast interview. I can remember it now. And Rich said, so what's the key, Dan? Like, it seems like nutrition and exercise and sense of community are important. And Dan said, absolutely. We know plant-based diet. We know, daily exercise. We know a sense of community is important. There's no doubt. He said, but that's not the most important thing. He said, the most important thing is environment. And he's not talking about, natural environment. He's talking about the where you put yourself dictates, doesn't support, it dictates your performance. The reason these people eat the way they do, the way they exercise, the fact that they have community is because of the environment creates that. They live 2 kilometres from the shops, and the only way to get there is to walk because there's no roads to drive your car. And on the way, they pass the other houses, and the houses are set up in a way that the community stop and they talk to each other on the way. And then when they get to the supermarket, there is no freezers and fridges and stuff. There's just fresh fruit and vegetables to eat. So it's always fresh every day. And then they've got to carry it back. And then when they get home, there's no electricity. So they've got to chop the wood, which means they've got to get up early to chop the wood and light the fire so the house is warmed. And to get it, environment supports performance. So the first thing in answer to your question is make sure that you put yourself in an environment with people that are like you, or champion or support you. You need to be in a place where your people are. Find your people, and there's people that aren't our people. They're not like good or bad, it's just they're not our people, right? So put yourself in a place where they're your people, yeah? So that would be my first comment. And then kind of almost the opposite to that is, and I'm talking to clients more and more about this, is put yourself nowhere. Put yourself in a place where there is no people. When was the last time you were by yourself? Like totally by yourself. Now, most of us avoid that like the plague because we either don't like ourselves or we're scared around what might even come up. And so we're either by purpose or just because of life, we never find ourselves by ourselves. And I just reflected on this last Friday. Michelle went and had a girls' weekend in the city. Took my 2 daughters and met up with some friends and had a night in the city on Friday night. My son Logan was staying at his mate's. And Michelle said, what are you going to do? Do you want to come into the city? And for a moment I thought, yeah, maybe I could come into the city and just stay in the hotel. And I went, no, I'm just going to stay home. I'm going to go and get a massage, and then I'm going to hop into bed early. I'm going to watch an episode of James Bond. And I'm just going to, just hang out. And it was so beautiful just to have nobody. And once you become a dad and you got kids and you got a partner and stuff, there's just always somebody around. And so in answer to your question, I think 2 things. Put yourself in an environment that supports who you want to be, and also put yourself in an environment where there's nobody. where there's just you alone with your thoughts, where you get to dive deep and really ask yourself, what do I really want?
Yeah, it's that distraction, right? It's been a big theme. I feel like you're just talking to me at the moment. Like, it's just everything you're saying is just like, yep, that's what's going on. Like, there's a massive theme for me around distraction at the moment. Like, everything is a distraction. These damned addictive phones, they're a distraction. The laptop is a distraction. Doing certain things, work, distraction. And I'm trying to minimize distractions in my life, because the more that I minimize these distractions, watching a show on TV or making some big fancy dinner, the more I minimize this stuff, the more time I have to sit with me. And sometimes, most of the time, that's hard, but I feel like it's the only way to do the work, to really improve that inner sense of who you are, your sense of spirituality. The Dalai Lama says spirituality is a mindset that you can use at any time of the day. And by mindset, he talks about integrity and humility and compassion. To be able to do that anytime, in any moment, that's spirituality to him. And for me, it's only through minimizing distraction that I can really connect in with that and actually practice that during the day. It's totally resonate with that. And yeah, I mean, environment, we could do a whole podcast on that. So absolutely love that.